I was thinking about whether I should come on and share or not, but I am. So, I read different literature about spiritual things, esoteric things, and talks of lessons, mirrors, all that yitty yaddy yitty. And I've read several times where things that happen to us in our past prepare us in some type of way for some kind of major challenge of some sort. I'm just going to say challenge. And you will, like it's almost like a face-off. That's the word that popped into my head. And you will know it's a face-off or some kind of challenge because there will be a sense of familiarity that you've been in that predicament before. But it's going to be a combination of experiences all wrapped into one. And mine's is pertaining to my heart and companionship. And I keep talking about this because I'm not overly obsessed with it. I'm having a great life experience right now, especially with my freedom and all that, and so on and so on. But it's funny because I remember having this guy that I was cool with. I wouldn't really call him a friend. And I worked with him. And people told me he liked me, but I was so oblivious I didn't see it. Because I was a tomboy. I wasn't used to attention from boys like that. And I just recently said to my mother, it saved me. it preserved me when I say save me. But that's a whole nother other. Now, we would laugh all the time. I mean, just dark humor, talking about Family Guy, all that stuff, you name it. And we could go on and on and on. And I remember I was in a toxic connection, and he was in a long-term relationship with a woman that I had been acquainted with, and she was pretty nice. And I liked them for each other, but I did not realize he liked me also. But he would be kind to me, do nice things for me. But then this one time, he said there was a get-together and that it was a group of us was going to go down to the beach. And I said yes, because I'm thinking all these people are going to go that I was acquainted with, that we shared mutually. He picks me up. We go. We have a day out on the beach. And I asked, where's everybody at? Why hasn't nobody showed up yet? And it pretty much reduced to, oh, they must have just backed down. But I never realized he pretty much took me out of the area to be able to spend time with me alone. And I was oblivious at that time. I didn't realize it till way, and I'm talking months later. And I remember he used to message me at night, and we would laugh about Family Guy because Adult Swim is a late time. And I remember a guy that I was dating at the time, because I had left a toxic relationship, said to me what others had said to me, which I was still oblivious to, which was, that guy likes you. He's really interested in you. And I responded, it's not like that. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, I'm a man, and he likes you. And it totally went over. And when I got a chance in the past year to look back on it, that same guy who tried to tell me also was mean to me and rude to me. And he played me out, and I clapped back. And I clapped back out of bad advice, obviously. And once I clapped back and got my get backs, he then, for some reason, seemed more highly attracted to me. But it really hurt my heart and my feelings. And We never hit it off after that. But I never realized that between an ex chasing and this guy that was obviously in the shadows that liked me, which he had called out, and I didn't realize it with the late night Adult Swim cartoon. Did you see the episodes and we're laughing bah over message, that was what was a trigger. And I'm saying this to say, fast forward, I've been approached, or you'd say propositioned, or invited, any of those three, to go down to the beach. And that something just in me just says, well, what's at the beach? And it has nothing to do with that situation. But then later on I realized, this is a thing guys do. And they try to isolate you somewhere to get along with you, to get to know you without transparency, obviously. And that's something I learned as a young girl, too, 616 on the timer as I say that. And I had to say to a guy who was interested in me recently, he says, what are your plans for the summer, Lawson? And I said, I'm working. And he says, well, I'm going to be at the beach. And I said, well, I had a beach pass last year and I hardly used it. And he says, well, I don't go to these local beaches. Where do you go? And I said, where I live. And he says, yeah, I like X, Y, and Z. And I said something in my spirit said, say something that you normally wouldn't say. And I said, do you have tents on your car? And he said, yes. And I said, oh, going to the beach and having tents on your car is player 2.0. And he ran away. And it's a true story. And my point to that is, outside of that guy, there's another guy that's liking, and he too has somebody that he's been with on the long term, and he's displaying all the qualities of the one from 14 to 15 years ago. And my point to that, in short, 7:29 on the timer, as I'm saying this, good things come to those who wait. I was well prepared with all my life experiences for now. Okay? And this could be you too. So if you go in and you reflect, you will see all the interconnectedness to all the experiences that you've had prior to now. Because let me tell you, I didn't notice how much that guy liked me. And I'm back in that predicament again. But that guy, he never told me how he felt. And that was the only thing that kept me from realizing that he actually liked me. He never told me how he felt. He kept showing it, but I couldn't see it because he had no clue. No matter how funny, how attractive I was, he lacked knowledge of my experiences to know that I really didn't know much about boys, and I had been sheltered because I was in the books. So the looks was deceiving, which was hilarious. But fast forward today, I'm back in that predicament. And I know the signs, and I'm not here for it because it's confusion, and I'm not battery operating somebody else's existing relationship, right? And we don't settle. And that same guy from 14 to 15 years ago, I run into him every now and again. He married that girl that he was with, and they created a beautiful family, okay? And they're still together. I'm happy for them. But me, on the other hand, I remained oblivious. Nobody had to get hurt in that situation. And it gave me a powerful experience to prepare me today for some of the same things that are currently lessons that are expressing in my life today. And I now know what it looks like. And like I said, I don't have to get involved. Okay? Nobody has to get hurt. So I hope this helps. See the lessons as a blessing from your past, and if you take a close look, you will realize they help you in some way.